This is a Nexus special, episode 33, Apple September event 2014, on Tuesday, September 9th, 2014. And now, one more thing. This Nexus special is hosted by Brian Mitchell and Ryan Rampersad. Hey there.
Hey.
How's it going?
Going well.
Yeah? How was that Apple event?
It was fun.
That's good.
Yeah, excited for all the new stuff they announced today.
Yeah, they announced quite a few big things.
Yes, the main ones, I guess, being iPhone 6, iPhone 6 Plus, and the Apple Watch, as well as some other new things incorporated along the line as well.
Mm-hmm. So let's begin talking about the iPhone 6 and its bigger counterpart, the 6 Plus.
Yes. Well, the 6 is a 4.7 inch display, whereas the 6 Plus is 5.5 inch. The 6 Plus has a 1920 by 1080 resolution, being 1080p, and the 6 has a smaller, I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head.
Yeah, it's like
1334 by 750.
Yep. So it's not even quite 720p there. It's kind of weird.
It's matching the 326 PPIs on the other iPhones.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So I think the iPhone 6 is even downscaling their content, their imagery. So it renders large and then downscales to 1080p. Yeah,
the 6 Plus will use at 3x image assets and then scale it down, which will be a whole lot of fun for designers who have been using one for one pixel ratios.
Well, I think for game designers, they won't have a problem. I think they can use it for one, but the everybody else, I don't think is going to have too much of an issue either. I mean, everything's already handled by the system for the most part.
Yeah.
So what about the design overall of both of them? I mean, they have the both same design, just one's bigger. So what about the design?
Well, they are an aluminum body, as Apple has been doing lately. I believe there's less glass than the last iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get up a nice photo of it right now. But it's got a glass display with rounded glass in the edge, which I think will be nice.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, I think it looks nice. I'm gonna, I think, try using it without a case at first, just because it's, I don't know, I feel like it'll protect itself with the aluminum things now. But the sleep button has been moved to the side. Good for right-handed people, bad for left-handed people.
Yeah.
The same volume and silence mute toggle is same place. It's the 6 is 6.9 millimeters thick, and the 6 Plus is 7.1 millimeters thick.
Still really small, thin.
Yeah, they're the thinnest iPhones yet. They have the new A8 CPU, still 64-bit, and the new M8 motion coprocessor with a new sensor. What is it? The
barometer.
Barometer, which will measure the air pressure, which you can use to get an elevation thing too, which I thought is super cool.
That is pretty cool, and I feel like normal people would never notice that it was there until apps incorporated it in some strange way. I mean, it's really obviously there for the fitness apps that they added.
Yeah, I wish I had that this summer when I climbed some water towers.
Definitely. So what about the new camera? It seems to be protruding from the case.
Yes, I think with the iPhone being a little thinner, the camera still had to be same thickness. It still records in 1080p, and they still call it the EyeSight camera, which
is a terrible name.
Terrible name, yeah.
Yeah.
But you can now record 1080p at 60 frames per second, which I think is a huge plus. It'll be really nice. And then slow motion up to 240 frames per second, which is doubling the previous 120 frames per second.
That's impressive. So is the resolution the same 8 megapixels?
Same 8 megapixels, same f-stop of 2.2, and 1.5 micron 5 pixels in the sensor. However, the iPhone 6 Plus has optical image stabilization, which should help a lot for video, I think it was for.
Mm-hmm.
But also new in these cameras are a new technology that would make autofocusing take about half as much time as on previous iPhones.
Yeah, they talked about how there were these focus pixels that would use a special type of technology to focus much faster, very much like a DSLR lens and CMOS sensor would work.
Yeah, bringing the high-end stuff into a phone.
That's what Apple does.
Yep.
So, what are any new battery life statistics that we get this year?
Yes, the batteries are supposed to be much better. The iPhone 6 Plus can obviously hold a much larger battery, but the audio playback has gone from 40 hours on the 5S and 5C up to 50 on the 6 and 80 on the 6 Plus. Video playback has gone up from 10 on the 5 series to the 11 on 6 and 14 on 6 Plus.
Mm-hmm.
8 hours on 3G, up to 10 hours on 3G on the 6 and 12 on the 6 Plus, and from 10 LTE and Wi-Fi to 10 LTE 11 on 6, 11 for Wi-Fi, 12 on LTE, 12 for Wi-Fi 6 Plus. Also, standby apparently was 10 days of standby on the old 5s and the 6, but up to 16 days on the 6 Plus.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and it still uses Lightning connector, and so I might have said talk time on 3G, I meant internet use.
Mm-hmm.
Talk time is 10 hours on the 5 series on 3G, up to 14 on the 6, and 24 hours on the 6 Plus. So it sounds like the 6 Plus might be a 2-day phone kind of thing.
Right, definitely. Of course, it depends on how much you use it during those 2 days, but it does seem like the battery increase there is huge.
Yeah, I think that phone might be able to go for 2 days without being needed to charge.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll have to see.
And so they also mentioned that they added a new gyro, like they just updated their gyro technology to be way more accurate. I think that's kind of interesting. That lets them do some new panorama stuff.
Yeah, was that talked about during the camera, or because if that was earlier, I think the stream crap got on me. But
yeah, I'm not really sure what they did. There was some kind of when they were talking about the gyro or the barometer, they also mentioned that they updated everything in the M8 so that there was a new accelerometer, a new gyro, more accurate and stuff.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, they said the panorama pictures can be 43 megapixels now, and a lot of seamless stitching where you could tell a little bit on previous ones.
Mm-hmm. So, which one would you get?
I am going to get the iPhone 6, the 4.7-inch display. My contract with my iPhone 5 expires on Sunday. I'm hoping I can pre-order it on Friday still, because I won't be activating it until the next week. But
right. Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'll be able to do that or not. So
right.
We'll see.
And you're gonna go through AT&T, right?
I think I ordered mine through Apple when I got my 5.
Okay.
But whatever one I can get to first,
mm-hmm.
without it crashing and whatnot. So
yeah, because that's what happens every year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what about the other models, the 5S and the 5? Like, what happened to those? Are those still going to be sold?
The 5S will still be sold for $99, and you can do 16 or 32 gigabytes of storage, and the 5C will be free on contract with 8 gigs.
Yeah, I hope nobody tells anyone else to buy a 5C. Just walk out of the store, don't buy a phone if you're going to get a 5C. Just don't do it.
It was an okay phone, but with 8 gigs, I would not recommend it whatsoever.
Right. Well, and especially for a mere $100, you could get a real phone.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we'll be seeing deals in the 5S soon anyway. That'll
right.
bring it down to 50 or whatever.
Oh,
anyway.
Absolutely. I'm sure by the closer to Christmas, we'll be seeing those deals.
Yeah.
So what's the price of the new 6 and 6 Plus then?
The 6 and 6 Plus start with 16 gigabytes for $199 for 6 and $299 for the 6 Plus.
Mm-hmm.
And then we skip 32 and go right to 64 for an additional $100, so $299 for the 6 and $399 for the 6 Plus. And then there's a new 128 gigabyte option for an additional $100.
Huh. So what you're telling me is that I could get a MacBook Air for the same price?
Cheaper.
Cheaper even. Wow. That's pretty scary when your phone not only has better resolution than a MacBook Air, but also just is more expensive than a MacBook Air.
But if you get it on a contract, it will be cheaper.
Oh, but then I have to pay through the nose for having an iPhone on a plan.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, I don't know if that sounds like a good deal to me. So what are some of the other new features with the iPhone that were shown? I know they had a new payment system.
Yep, Apple Pay is a new thing. There's NFC in the new iPhones, near-field communication. So Apple is really pushing to get NFC stations around the country and the world, I guess. I think just the U.S. at first.
Yeah, I think they're starting in the U.S., yep.
and that'll be able to authorize and pay for you with just tapping your phone to this device in the store. You don't need to show ID or credit cards or anything. Just tap your phone.
Yeah.
Also, the 6 Plus has a few, and its landscape is almost like it's an iPad with its kind of a dual view kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
They showed an example with the calendar, having your month view on your left and your week or day view list on the right. Also, if you tilt the 6 Plus on its side, the dock can be on the right instead of the bottom, and like
Okay.
the icons turn instead of just having it be portrait on the side and everything be portrait still.
Well, that's nice.
So, some new features there. And the iPhones will come in silver, gold, and space gray.
I think I'm glad they didn't add a new color because that would be ridiculous. I mean, there's already an insane number of iPhone models now.
You don't want the product red iPhone 6 Plus?
Well, so like, no, I don't. I also don't need the robin's egg blue or the insanely neon green iPhone 6 Plus.
Turn back Bondi blue.
Well, people would buy that.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah. So there was another thing, one more thing.
Yes, they brought back the one more thing that Steve Jobs used to say.
And when this happened during the keynote, everybody just went wild.
Yeah, it was something to see.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So let's talk about the one more thing then. What was it?
That would be the Apple Watch.
Not the iWatch.
No, Apple Watch. They dropped the I.
I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that.
But it stinks if you're not on a Mac or iOS device. You can't use the Apple Unicode symbol because that's only on OS 10 or iOS.
I know that. I'm okay with that as a Windows user. I don't force you to write the Windows sign whenever you talk about Windows. Just write Apple.
That's true. Yeah, I think that's what it's going to be called.
Yeah.
Everywhere. But anyway, there are 3 different models: the standard Apple Watch, Apple Watch Sport, and Apple Watch Edition. The watch is it's like a polished aluminum or steel, I think. Steel alloy, yeah. And that comes in, all of these watches come in a 38 or a 42 millimeter size, so it's a slightly smaller one if you want to go down by 4 millimeters.
Mm-hmm.
The Sport comes with a brushed aluminum finish, I think, and with a sports band. And then the Edition is 18 karat gold, which I bet will cost a little bit more. But
probably at least $100 more.
They said these watches start at $349. So
that's not actually too bad of a price. That's actually right where I think this kind of a product would be.
If you think a nice watch, traditional watch, might be around that range.
Exactly.
Too.
Yeah. Well, and I also think about it as, well, we already knew the iPod Nano that was mounted to a watch band cost $150. So just pretend that you're mounting 2 at once, and then this is what you get.
But there are several cool features about it too. So it's got a sapphire edge or sapphire coated screen, so much harder than glass. I think, which is very necessary for a watch.
Because you're just going to be hitting things into it all the time.
It's always out and around. And so it has both your standard touchscreen, but also a pressure sensor thing as well. So you can tap and push the screen, and they do different things based on how you touch the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think will be very interesting to play around with once I get my hands on one. And then there's a button on the lower right-hand side of it that will bring up your favorites and let you draw little pictures with them or call them or something too.
That picture thing, so it's very reminiscent of the iPhone and iPad, when you double tap the home button and the app switcher comes up, but also those people icons come up.
Yeah,
it's very similar. Yeah.
Also, PictoChat on the Nintendo DS.
But it's so nice and pretty in this version.
It goes to dust. I think that's really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so describe how that looks.
Well, you draw on it. It's on a black background, and it's almost like a neon color kind of thing. You draw with your finger on this tiny touchscreen. I don't even know. I guess 38 or 42 millimeters, but it's pretty small. So you kind of draw little messages, and it'll slowly fade away after a few seconds, and then the other person can see that and draw something back and have little drawing conversations.
It's kind of fun and it's kind of cool. It's a nice, it's a nice simple stock app to show what's possible.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. My favorite feature of that, of course, is that you can just tap and it'll just send a little silent ping through the vibrator.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
Would they call that vibrator, of course, the Apple taptic feedback thing.
They had a whole module for that in the
Yeah.
internal view.
Well, vibrator motors do have to be kind of big, so I don't blame them for that.
Yeah. And then the final way of interacting with the Apple Watch is a little rotary dial with a button on it as well. So they use that to kind of scroll in and out of the views. So scrolling in or out of a map or on the home screen, and then you can press the button to select or go back a level or something like that.
So that was kind of weird to me. So if you press the button down, is the whole circle thing the button? Is that how that works?
I think so, yeah.
So then, normally what they said was that when you hit the button, when you press that crown button, it will bring you back to the home screen. So I wasn't sure how you would ever select things. It wasn't clear to me.
I think you tap.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense then. And so they're calling that button the digital crown.
Digital crown, yeah.
Which is funny because there's nothing digital about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was interesting when they were presenting this. They didn't mention that it was a touchscreen for a long time.
They didn't. They.
I was like, is it going to be... Because that kind of seems like a cool thing, too.
Right.
But it is touchscreen, which I think is ultimately the better way to go. But
well, I mean, imagine if it wasn't touchscreen, how much more limited functionality it would have.
Yeah, I've used the Pebble a bit, and you can do some stuff, but it's really difficult to do a lot with just 3 buttons.
Yeah, exactly. So what else can this watch do?
Well, it has some infrared lights on the bottom of it to take your pulse, and there's, of course, the haptic feedback. It has a speaker. It looks like it can control music on your phone and maybe even play it on its own, streaming from a phone. It does require an iPhone 5, 5C, 5S, 6, or 6 Plus.
Yep.
To use.
So is that anything that can run iOS 8? I'm assuming that's kind of what they're going for there?
Yep, but not the 4S.
Okay.
I'm guessing this is something similar to Siri, not being on 4, because it's probably requires a little more power, and the 4S just isn't quite there with it.
Definitely, yep.
And it has Siri on it as well. I'm curious how you enter something on the keyboard with it, because they never does that.
I don't think you do. I don't think there's any keyboard support.
I wonder if they would do dictation through Siri or not.
Oh, yeah. So I think the guy, I don't know what his name was, Kevin Lynch, maybe? He came up and demoed doing just like Siri dictation, sort of, ask Siri a question, and it worked for him. So then if you had to refine your input or anything, it'd probably just ask you to do the same.
Yeah. He showed an example of contacting someone who was in the top of the recent, so he just tapped that. But I was curious how you would add someone else. I'm guessing through dictation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, and if it's already somebody in your address book, you'd probably just scroll through that list of people that's shown.
Yeah.
Yeah. They also, there was a cool, little utility built into the messaging system that if somebody asks you a or kind of question, like, do you want to get Wendy's or do you want to get sushi? They can present you with a quick response button.
Yeah, the suggestive type, like quick type on iOS 8.
Mm-hmm.
Used to be on the iWatch. Sorry, Apple Watch.
Yeah, that's never going to work, is it? iWatch or Apple Watch? I think that's really cool, and I wonder what other, quick, response message commands they built into that, because I think that's really nice.
Yeah. They're, for charging for the Apple Watch, uses the magnetic, inductive-based MagSafe charger.
Mm-hmm. Man, that thing looks nice.
Yeah, just snap right on.
So I kind of wondered why. So why don't the new iPhones also support using that charger? I think that's strange.
I think having a cord plugged into a watch is a strange thing.
I agree, but I think so I think this is a really nice charger compared to all of the other smartwatches from Motorola and Asus and Samsung, where they have all the exposed contacts. This is by far the best design, but it also makes you wonder why the iPhones didn't come with it too.
I think ultimately the inductive-based charging is to make it more water-resistant, dust-resistant.
Oh, definitely. Yep.
I'm curious how waterproof things it is.
Yeah, they did not mention its, waterproofness.
They didn't mention a specific release date, just early 2015.
Mm-hmm.
They released starting at $349. They didn't say specifically which model costs what.
But we can guess. So the entry-level model will cost the $350. The sports one will cost $100 more, and the edition models will cost $200 more, at least.
Do you think sport is going to cost more?
I do, yeah.
How come? I'm curious.
Well,
'Cause
so
it looks like it's got the brushed aluminum, which probably is cheaper to make.
it had. I mean, I think that's what their goal was. I don't know. I mean, I guess it could be the same price as the regular one, but then I don't think they would make the differentiation then by name. They would just say we have this different texture.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the exact pricing will be. Also, then they released nothing on battery life.
No, suspiciously.
And I'm also curious how it does communicate with the iPhone.
I'm assuming Bluetooth also, but I read somebody's tweet that the Apple Watch will record the distance you run using Bluetooth and Wi-Fi with your iPhone. So if that's true, then it almost seems like it can work independently with Wi-Fi also.
Yeah, but I know the Apple Watch also has near-field communication because it can do Apple Pay.
Right,
so,
yep.
But if it has support for the iPhone 5, 5C, and 5S, it needs to use Bluetooth probably. So.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, I also think it's kind of interesting. So, like, what if you were going on a run and you just wanted to track your steps and distance and stuff? Would you have to bring your iPhone?
I'm not sure. That's a good question.
Because if you did, that seems kind of like a useless peripheral for the fitness category of what this is working for.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they also introduced...
What I would have is the Pulse...
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they made a nice fitness app and exercise app. Workout, I think is what they called it. Yeah.
They have some goals on it for how much activity. You have a goal every day to stand up once every hour for 12 hours. Getting 30 minutes of your blood flowing faster, I think, something like that.
Yep. So, again, that was a nice example of a stock app.
Yeah. I'm excited I'm going to definitely purchase an Apple Watch, and I'm excited to try it out and have fun.
Yeah, sometime in early 2015. So when do you think that would be?
Probably March.
March? Okay, well, I was thinking February.
I mean, I would like January, but knowing Apple, it's going to get delayed a little bit.
Well, I think January is risky because all of the people, after Christmas have no money, and then they have no opportunity to be given it also.
I feel like end of February is probably a good, hey, my birthday's end of February.
Well, there you go. That's what they're timing it for.
Happy birthday, Brian.
Uh-huh, exactly. So the iPad 2 was was announced on February 23rd, 2011.
My birthday.
Oh, okay then. Oh, see how easy that was? So I think that could be a good indication of when it could be shown.
Yeah, I feel like that last week of February probably as well.
Yep. So do you think the time they're taking now is like just a ramp up in supply, or do you think they're still doing refinements or any improvements to it?
I feel like they probably wanted it to be ready by the holiday season.
Yep.
But it got delayed.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they probably delayed it so it could be finalized and ready to go rather than issues. They probably had a few hardware issues, or even software, I guess.
Right. So then I have a follow-up question to that then. So if it's being released in February, let's just pretend that's when it is, do you think they would release another version 2 in the same 2015 year?
I'm not sure. That's a good question.
Because they did that with the iPad. I think that was the iPad 3 to 4. They had the iPad 3 in February, I think, and then the iPad 4 in November. If they did something like that again, I don't think anybody would be too angry, but the improvements would have to be very tangible.
Yeah. I think that since it's the first generation of it, they're probably going to wait a year just so they can try and push for more people to buy it before they upgrade. Because if people know another one just came out, they may not want to jump on, and I don't know.
Well, I think of it on the other hand that Apple might not want to ever release a product in February ever again, because what a terrible time of the year to release something.
It brightens up people's winters.
Well, yes, it does, but it also alienates everybody who could have gotten it for during December, which is a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I feel like if anything, they would release another one in October or November, just refreshed models, just to make sure that they can keep doing it.
Yeah, I think they will either release a new updated one then, or wait an additional year. Release one then.
I suppose they could wait, until June of 2016 then. But that seems like so long. It's 2014 now. It'll be February then. Waiting an entire year in 6 months seems really awful.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah. So any other things that Apple did today?
They redesigned the website.
Yes, the website looks new and it's pretty. It doesn't have that awful black thing anymore.
And there's a mobile optimized version as well.
Oh, I have not looked at that yet.
It's snazzy. There, you know the hamburger?
Yep.
It turns into an X and it looks really cool when you tap the hamburger. I highly recommend it. It's a nice animation.
Oh, that is pretty fancy. Oh, that's pretty good. Well, they also did some other things on the website. The website no longer carries, the well-known and legendary iPod Classic.
Yes, that 2009 iPod is no longer.
So I don't know. Is the store back up yet? I don't know if the store is up at this time yet. Nope, the store is still down for me at this time.
I am loading it. I'm not sure if I can. It looks like it might be up.
Okay, maybe it is.
Yeah, it looks like it's up. Why?
In Morris, it's up. In the Twin Cities, it's not.
Really?
I guess so.
My CDN is better than your CDN.
That's right. You have a whole fiber CDN there.
Well, it's from the same data center as the U of M. Well, I guess you're not there, so that makes sense.
Yeah, that's true. Well, so I mean, it's kind of sad that the iPod Classic didn't even get one more update before it left.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know if there's anything else on Twitter. There's tons of people in the demo room posting pictures and stuff. So you can just go to Twitter to see those things, I suppose. So is there any other ideas or things you thought of for this event?
I'm just hoping that I can order my iPhone 6 before my contract is up and have it be okay, but we'll see. Mm-hmm. I'm excited to use iOS 8 when it comes out on the 17th.
Yep.
Next Wednesday. I don't know, am I missing something?
I think that's pretty much it. I mean, this event, the rumors before the event, people thought they might also include the iPad Air 2 in this event, but clearly they didn't. So does that mean we'll have another event later this year for the iPads?
Maybe. I'm curious if they're going to have the event pretty soon, I feel.
So I think last year they had an event in September and then another one in October.
Yeah.
So I suppose they could do it then. What else would they include with that event, though? They can't just have an iPad and an iPad mini update. They'd have to do something else with it, right?
New Apple TV, maybe?
New Apple TV, maybe, yeah. It's possible. I suppose new Broadwell-based MacBook Pros and MacBook Airs, maybe?
Maybe. I don't think they would have a presentation unless they did a major hardware redesign, though.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I suppose it's just about time for a new MagSafe 3, right?
Oh, I hope not.
I hope not either.
I'm finally just getting used to MagSafe. Well, I've been used to MagSafe too, but I'm finally knowing a few people who use it as well.
Right.
And that's really nice.
Mm-hmm. Well, I suppose they could just not have an event for the updated, iPads. I mean, if all that's changing is their cameras and their storage sizes, I suppose it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that pretty much sums up this September Apple event.
I think so, too.
So where can people follow you online when an Apple event is going on?
The best place during Apple event is to follow me on Twitter at Tech4789. My other Twitter is bman4789, and my website is brianm.me.
See, you and your fancy domain names.
I got a new one, too.
Yeah.
Eyebrow.me. I have nothing on it right now.
Oh, well, that's good.
It's free, so I got it.
Free domains are the best. And of course, you can follow me just about everywhere, but especially on the Twitter of RyanMR, and of course on Google+, which is where I post, pictures and things of what I'm doing, whatever it is. And of course, you can also follow me on my blog, which I've recently revived. It's very nice to have a blog again. New mobile publishing scheme. It's very nice. Handy to have. And, I think that's all I know for this Apple event. Yep, and thanks for joining me, and have a good one.